Hello, I'm in my John Deere 643R. It's a 2017 model, and I got a 643R mechanical self-leveling loader on hooked up to this tractor too. It's a really nice tractor. It's got IVT in it, European edition, and it goes, I think 31, or I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's 31 miles per hour. And then in European, so if you put it in the kilometers, it goes, I think it's like 34 miles per hour actually, if you leave it in metric instead of switching over to English units. Yeah, it's a nice tractor. It's been a very good purchase. I bought it used. I did not buy it new. I bought it used with 4,000 hours on it from JB Tractor in, I think, Brandon, Minnesota, or maybe it's there in Millerville, Minnesota. It is a very nice tractor, so haven't really had any issues with it. I've had a couple small little things here or there, but it's been awesome. So I primarily use it as a loader to screen topsoil and compost. Let's see here. And I load dump trucks and whatnot with it. Here's my, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I put the loader down. That's my dirt pile. It's pretty big. I don't know how many we got, probably, I don't know, just on site now we probably got about a good 6,000 yards at least. So, and then there's the screening plant. So this screening plant, it's not a huge one or anything, but it works for us and that's fine. It's about as big of a machine as I can load this screening plant with. But like a skid steer, the way it's set up right now with this plant, I have the plant sitting really high off the ground. So the higher I get the plant off the ground, the higher my stacking conveyor is over to the left there. So that gives me a way higher pile. It keeps the pile away from the screening plant and all that. It makes a big difference. So I have the plant up really high actually, and you cannot load this with a skid steer. You can't load it with a compact wheel loader. But this thing, loader up, bucket all the way dumped. As long as I don't hit the screening plant here, I can clear it. So that's pretty impressive. So up, bucket dumped all the way, and this bucket dumps a long way. It is darn near, you know, perfectly 100% vertical. So very nice setup for this screener plant and whatnot. There's not many machines that it can actually load this screener, so this is really nice setup. So yeah, I've been happy with it. Maybe I kind of want to try to make some more videos, and this is just the first video, and I want to make videos but get better at making them and have more of a plan of what to say and not have pauses and all that between what I'm saying, so it's easier, it's more digestible for people. But figured I'd just kind of make this little video just to show what everything looks like, so maybe one day I can look back on this a couple years from now, or 5 or 10 years from now, and I'll know what it looked like here. It'd be kind of interesting to remember. So I think that's about it. So maybe I'll make some more videos about this tractor, what I like and don't like and all that. So I've been running it since you know, January 1st, 2020. And it's really come in handy. It's a nice tractor. And I put, so all those hours are basically from me, so about 4,000 or 4,200 hours up to 7,000, so just 3,000 hours that I put on it about. But I know a decent amount about it now, and I haven't put no 10,000 hours on it or anything, but I put enough hours on to kind of be able to critique it and whatnot. So Yeah, and then we got a plow set up for it over there. So let's see, I'll change my magnification. So I got a 12-foot snowstorm cage plow, and then I got a Ebling pole plow that goes on the rear 3-point. That cage plow goes on the front 3-point hitch that this tractor has on it. And then that Ebling, it's an 8-foot mold board, and then there's I think 4-foot wings on each side, so that's it. The wings hydraulically move around, so you can fold them out or fold them back in like they are right now. They're folded in. So that's that red plow. So just so you know. But yeah, so you can fold them all the way out, and then you have 16 feet straight out. So this one's, you can kind of see this one's kind of folded out. I had to do a repair to it, so I unfolded it. But that's kind of what it does. But it does come straight out from and line up with that rear mold board. That's been a handy plow. It's been really nice on this tractor. So, yep, that's it. Oh, and then yeah. So my video, I'll probably end up talking about important things. Are these mirrors? These mirrors are amazing. So you can't really see them when I zoom out. But yeah, I would never buy another tractor without mirrors like this, or like even like a wheel loader or anything. The lower convex mirrors is it's awesome. You can see right where your tire kisses the ground, and it makes the tractor a lot more maneuverable. It's like having, those are basically 2 video camera screens in my opinion for reverse cameras. They're really, really nice. It's like 360-degree vision, like on the new trucks, how it has that, how on the display it shows you 360. These mirrors are basically that 360 view. It's really, really, they are awesome. That's one of my favorite things about the tractor is the mirrors. The IVT transmission is really nice too. This loader is amazing. This loader is super nice. And then the joystick control for the loader is really, really true. And you can really finesse it, so you can just barely touch it, and then the boom will crane upwards. You can see it kind of moving upwards really slowly, so that's nice. You can really feather the dumping of the bucket and the curling of the bucket. The only thing you can't feather is lowering the bucket. Deere needs to figure this out. So as you know, for loading people, when I come up to like a pickup truck and I try to load it, or a trailer when I try to load it, and the bucket's full, the tractor gets really jumpy. A way that I found to get around that is to press the ride control to engage the accumulator on the loader, and then that kind of smooths out the jumpiness when you lower it. But the lowering needs to be better on this. You should be able to feather the loader down. The other thing that would be really nice on this tractor would be if it was actually a hydraulic quick attach and electric quick attach on here for switching on attachments. That would be really nice. You don't have to keep getting in and out. This tractor's not super tall, but it's tall enough to where you're getting in and out. It kind of wears you out a little bit, which is fine. We all need to stay, you know, in shape and all that. And then the suspended front axle. I got the triple link suspension on this tractor. Oh, sorry. I got the triple link suspension on this tractor. That's really nice. It makes it ride really awesome, and you can do weird things with it. So like when you hook up your rear 3-point and your draft links don't go down far enough, you can actually raise up your front axle. So you raise up your front axle so your rear axle drops, and that actually will lower your draft links a little bit more. Yeah, it comes in handy a decent amount actually. Another thing I like about the tractor, yeah, the panorama doors and all that, those are really nice. Yeah, when I first started to run this, that was amazing, and now I'm just kind of spoiled. I'm just used to it. The lights on it are really, really nice for around the cab. Those are awesome. I'm just kind of spoiled to that. I kind of take that for granted now. I'm just used to it. A thing that I don't like is when this tractor goes into regen mode, it revs up the RPMs and it makes it want to pull through makes it want to pull through the brakes on the IVT transmission. So you'll be in the middle of loading a truck or something, and you'll be right up next to the truck, and then you'll have your foot on the brake, and it just normally, it doesn't take much to stop the tractor. It'll go into regen, and it'll pull through the brakes, and it'll make you want to hit the truck that you're loading. That's not super cool. And then the whole time you're operating the loader while it's regenning, it's the tractor's just really, it wants to pull through everything, and this thing has so much power that it makes it kind of hard to run the loader and whatnot, because it really pushes hard on the loader when it wants to pull through your brakes all the time. So that's something I don't like, is on the regen it revs up and the brakes get weaker. So I like the display. The display's fine. So you know what I mean. Computer screens are fun and all that, but this is plenty for me, I guess. You can go to your menu, and then I actually, for loading trucks, making dirt blends and all that, I'm just running this from my, let's see, I'll look at the screen actually. I use a calculator a lot, so when I count my scoops and all that, and I figure out how many things I'm mixing in, I use a numbering system on the calculator to tell me like how many scoops of black dirt I have, how many scoops of compost, how many scoops are in the truck, how many scoops are in the screener or whatever, scoops of tailings, and I like have I'm like a 6-digit number that I type in, and I keep updating it so I can keep track of my production that way. That kind of comes in handy. Just that calculator is a lot handier than I would ever thought. I wish they could have more stuff on here, but it's fine. This all works. I also really like the machine monitor. You can see all your speed and power, fuel pressure, fuel rated things, your def level, stuff like that, time to empty. Temperatures are kind of nice to know. I have this on metric because people say it makes the tractor run better, and it actually makes it go faster. You get like extra 3 miles per hour out of it by running it on metric. AC or electrical hours. So basic stuff. This does have this is ready for like Green Star and all that. It had a receiver on top, and then when I bought it, they took the receiver off and sold it or put it on something else or whatever. But and just little stuff like there's a clock here. Oh, I never pushed on that before. Holy cow. Huh. Look at that. I never pushed on that. But yeah, just having a clock here to tell the time is really nice. We just got a brand new compact wheel loader. It doesn't have a clock on it. It's ridiculous. So this I guess I'm grateful for this little clock. And so yeah, that's enough about the display. The lights are nice and all that. The climate control is nice. I like the eco mode for the 540 RPM PTO. This has eco on it. That's nice. And the other thing maybe I don't like about it, let's see, it's good on fuel. The crankcase breather filter, for me, that's really hard to change. I try to change the crankcase breather filter, and I've done it a couple times here, and I do it every time I change the oil, and wow, that is something else to change out. But then I have a buddy of mine who's a Deere mechanic, and he doesn't really think it's too bad, so I gotta get used to it a little bit. But there's plenty of storage. This one has a sunroof up here. And there's like this, I swear this was a cooler in here, and now it's not necessarily a cooler anymore, but it's kind of set up to be a cooler. What else do I like? It has a lot of traction, almost too much traction. This one has the big tires on it. Not like I guess these were big back in 2019 and 2017 when this was made. But I don't know, the tires are probably a couple feet wide, tread-wise. So But now they got those low sidewall things that are huge. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think it's most things I like. I like the air ride seat, and the heated seat is nice. Yeah, overall, it is it's a pleasure to run. I've never had like a bad day in here, really, like a day where I'm like, oh, where I was like frustrated running it, or where I thought it was underpowered or anything like that. Never. Whenever I run it, it is a pleasure to run every single time. Every single time, it is a pleasure to run. They did a really good job of getting everything figured out. There's some stuff you have to figure out with the transmission, like if you're gonna run the loader on here. There's a few tricks that you need to kind of learn. I don't ever really use the clutch pedal on here. I like clutch pedals and all that, but I don't use it on this tractor. And the big reason too is I got my little buddy down here. Let's see if I got my little man down there on his little dog bed. But so I don't ever want to crush him under the clutch pedal, so I just learned not to use it. Using the clutch pedal with the loader on here, it would make it pretty nice and like roll out kind of like automatic transmission a little bit more when you go to like dump into a pile, and then you don't want to drive into the pile, you just want to bounce off of it, and then as you bounce off, it kind of almost helps your bucket empty out. There's a few, like there's an alternative to pressing in the clutch pedal where you can put it in. So let's see here, you got neutral, park, forward, reverse. What you can do is put it in, I think they call this power neutral or something, where this will stop you on a hill. Or it'll like not let you, so you can put it in neutral here. It'll kind of roll for a little bit if you're moving, but then once you're stopped, it almost puts it into park. And then you can get out and you don't have to worry about it rolling. You don't have to put it in park every time. But what you can do is if you're still moving, so you're going forward, and you have your engine revved up, so just pretend I'm in forward, and then you can put it into power neutral and keep your revs up, and it'll keep rolling you like you're actually in neutral, like this. It'll just keep rolling you, so you don't have to go up here and put it in neutral. Otherwise you could press the clutch in too and it would roll you, but I'm just kind of used to having it in forward and then keeping my revs up and having it in power neutral, and it lets you roll around and do things. It's kind of nice. Otherwise, if you don't rev it, it will slow you down pretty fast and then put you in park and stop you, which isn't ideal. So if you don't got a little dog in here, you could probably use your clutch pedal and roll out and roll around and all that and be fine. But that's what I've kind of learned to do. That's a little trick. I don't know what else. Oh, and then on this tractor, so the recommended oil change interval is 750 hours, and we use 5W40 AMSOIL synthetic oil in here. So that should be just as good as the Deere stuff in theory. I think 750 hours, by the time you get there, you're going to have to add at least a gallon of oil or something by the time you get there, you'd think. You have to add about a gallon every, you damn near think every 300 hours at least, right? So I don't wait that long to change it. So I have been waiting to 500 hours, and that's been fine. This last time I waited to 500 hours, and I probably got to like almost 600 hours maybe on it, that's getting pretty close to 750 hours. Too close. And I started to get a turbocharger actuation linkage fault. So the turbocharger for the variable geometry, it wasn't going through the full range of motion because of an unknown reason, but I think it was because there was debris in the solenoid or whatever that or in the plunger that lets the vanes go through their range of motion. So that's a pretty bad error to have, and usually you have to replace the turbo. if that happens. So I wasn't very happy about that. We were doing another repair on it, and then the oil needed to be dropped anyway, so I just told my buddy to drop the oil on it, and he dropped the oil and finished the repair and all that. I went out and ran it, and I never have had that air since then. So just dropping the oil and having cleaner oil in there stopped me from having to replace the turbo in theory. So so that's something to kind of remember. Like, even $500 is too much. You get to $300 and you're going to want to change it. And I'm not no saint on doing perfect service intervals. So what do I got? Oh, this is kind of nice too. So your service intervals, let's see here. You just go on your main screen, you go maintenance and calibrations, and then service intervals. And then, so let's see here. So my 1,500 hour service, I'm 182 hours over on that. My 750 hour service, I'm, what is that? Yeah, about that 100, well, I can't do math right now. Yeah, 180 hours, that's 182 hours over. And my engine oil, I'm at 262 out of 500. So I'm getting close to wanting to just change this. When I'm doing the transmission, I'll probably drop the engine oil too. So yeah, so 262 hours, and that's, I'd rather just have clean oil in there and not have to worry about all that stuff. When you have all that stuff in the engine, especially with the complicated turbo and whatnot, might as well just keep your oil clean and drop it more often. So I thought 500 would be fine, and I guess it's not. So that much is apparent now since that turbo thing happened. Yeah, it's a nice tractor. That's most things that I know. The other thing that is kind of funny, this has the front PTO on it. If you need to, so with the front PTO, this is the Deere setup. It's not the Sudberg or whatnot. This is Deere's deal. The way the shaft is on there, it comes off of the flywheel on the front of the engine here, or what would that be? Is that the crankshaft there on the front of the engine? And goes up to the front PTO gearbox. If you need to change your serpentine belt on this tractor, you have to take that shaft out. It's a big deal to change your serpentine belt on here. It's insane. So it's actually a huge repair to do it. I can't believe it, but it's many hours to change a serpentine belt on here. So that's a really not so great thing. Maybe there's a trick to do it easier, but wow, we did it, and that was something else. So think a little bit before you have a front PTO on your tractor, because that's a huge maintenance deal. That front PTO, I thought it would just be nice to have it, but it's actually kind of a nuisance a little bit with how it makes things harder to access. The other bad thing is Deere's shaft they designed, they have a coupling, like a rubber coupling in there to dampen the engine vibrations from going into your front PTO shaft gearbox. Their design was bad, and it wears out. So now they have an updated design, and that supposedly fixes everything, but that shaft is also not good. So there's a lot of things on this tractor. There's a lot of stuff to break, so that's the one thing. But wow, it's nice for being a tractor. It's one of the nicest loaders I've been in, so that tells you anything. And then it can do everything a tractor can do, and then it can do everything a loader can do. It's not as heavy duty as a loader, but like if you have the right person in there and they're not wanting to beat on it, and they kind of want to take it easy on the front axle of the tractor, I think you can have a really productive machine. Other nice thing about this is we got a compost turner, so we can turn compost with it also, so it's kind of cool. So, and then this is a perfect machine for compost, I think. So I guess on a big wheel loader, if you need to handle a bunch of compost, you just put a huge bucket on it, And then you can move a lot of compost at a time. But this compost for this is, I think that's what it's kind of more made for, is a fluffier material like that. This loader really likes compost. Dig it into a really hard black dirt pile? No. It's a heavy loader, but it's not made to do that. So, at least not for its whole life, which I do sometimes. About 15% of the time probably it has to dig into a hard pile, so it's not good. But really try to minimize that. I try to bust it up with our excavator before I scoop it up with this. I kind of just make this a rehandling machine. I don't make it like a earth breaking machine or anything like that. But okay, well, that's about all I need, all I can think of saying. So that's the tractor. I'm gonna park her in the shop and then we're good to go.